Christmas to all my peeps and peepettes. You have once again stumbled upon NH Unscripted, where we today are on the hunt for 16 Vestal Virgins because it's Christmas time and I got presents to hand out. I am your whiter shade of pale host, Ray Dudley. There's more truth in that than I care to get into. We are coming to you from the wonderfully lavish studios of WKXL in Concord, 1450 AM, 103.9 FM, 101.9 FM in Manchester. And for those folks who need a URL, yeah, baby, you can find us at nhtalkradio.com. I need to take a moment once again to thank my sponsor. Merry Christmas to Matt and all of his crew up there at Lakes Region Fencing, Guilford. Matt, we really, really appreciate all you've done for this show. Folks, if you are in the market, especially coming up for the springtime where you need a new fence, head on over to lrfence.com. Spend some time. They are gorgeous. I mean, almost like painting-like photos of fence work that Matt and his crew do. And it is stunning. They do it all, horse corrals, pool stuff, property lines, commercial fencing. And they don't use that cheap garbage that you find over where. You've been there. They use the real stuff. Real cedar, real beautiful polyvinyl, whatever they are. I don't even know. Powdered, coated aluminum. You got it. lrfence.com. You know what? Here's a tip, pro tip for date night. Get yourself a bucket of KFC, bring in your loved one, and just spend a few hours on date night scrolling through the photos, happily cheering on where you're going to spend your next bonus check. Yeah, baby! Matt, we love you guys. That's Lakes Region Fence in Guilford, lrfence.com. I have been trying to get my next guest for several weeks. We can't seem to make a date. We finally got it, though. Good morning to Donald Tung. How are you, my friend?
Good morning. I'm doing well, thanks.
Yeah. I am so ready for this one. Donald is from Tung Mountain Productions, among other things. He's an author and an excellent director. We are here today to talk about his short film. Is that what they would call it? Yeah, short film?
Yep, short film.
Yeah, called Home Burial. Before we get into that, the details, and we start pulling it apart, Donald, give us an overview of what the film is about and maybe why you chose it.
Sure. So the film is actually an adaptation of a Robert Frost poem of the same title, Home Burial, which is a very powerful poem. It's around a couple that has just recently experienced the loss of their firstborn child, and it's about them trying to come to terms with the grief and how they are expressing their grief in different ways and how that is just creating a chasm between them. And Robert Frost captured this particular scene, which is really what the poem is a scene between this couple, just so exquisitely well that I just had to do it. It's something that I've been thinking about for a long time. It just had this cinematic quality to the poem, which actually a number of his poems have that kind of, I'd say, sort of portraying a moment in sort of quintessential New England, rural New England, rustic experiences.
So for folks, I've heard the soundtrack, and Donald began to show me some of the actual film itself. It's agonizing. It's painful.
Yeah.
It's in a beautiful way. I don't mean
Right.
it's painful to I mean, it's gorgeous, first of all. Absolutely gorgeous. And for anybody who has ever lost a loved one or knows somebody who's been through it, the grief and agony it's heart-rending. I mean, it's almost brutal in it. So how did you come across this one, and why this one? Of all the stuff that he's written, why?
Right. So a little backstory. Robert Frost and Eleanor lost their first child when he was 3 years old. And so this poem, I have to imagine, just comes out of his very personal experience and how keenly aware he is of how such a tragic moment can just create such just the cost it has on a marriage.
Yeah, it's there. It's plain as day.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell the agony he poured out
Right.
through the pen onto that.
Right.
Man, oh man.
So yeah, it's a deeply personal poem. It's interesting. He gives the wife a name in the poem, but he doesn't give him a name, which I find
How
rather
is he
curious.
referred to?
He isn't.
At all?
Just
Oh.
he.
Oh.
Yeah, just the personal pronoun. He,
Almost
he,
like first
he saw
person
her
with
from
like
the
a-
bottom of the stairs before she saw him, So yeah, it's kind of interesting because in other poems he does have sort of characters and dialogues and sort of very similar kind of again just creating a scene. He gives the characters names, but in this one he doesn't. So I find that again I think it's just a very personal thing. I think it's really him. That he's pouring out on the page.
Yeah, you almost want to cry when you watch it, and or you hear it. I mean, it's deeply personal.
Yeah.
How long was this in the back of your mind, how, fermenting, thinking, I could do something with this. I could make it maybe a short play, like a one act or something, or what made you decide to how long did it take to get it out, and then why film?
Sure. So I guess backing up a little bit more, I wrote a play about Robert Frost, which, by the way,
what?
Yeah.
Huh, I seem to recall that.
Yeah, Ray performed that at Southern New Hampshire University a couple years back. And so in researching that play and Robert Frost and his work, that's when I really started, digging in and just becoming very familiar with his work, his poetry. And so, and actually, when we performed that there at the Southern New Hampshire University, I had the couple beforehand do sort of a dramatic rendition of this poem. I don't know if you recall that.
No.
The two actors, sort of a precursor to the play, did a dramatic rendition. So that was kind of the first time I really kind of saw, okay, there's some potential here.
Yeah.
And then I sat down this past year and wrote a screenplay of it. So a screenplay is where you take the dialogue and you adapt it and you come up with, what shots would we get here? What would they be doing? Sort of the action that's going on. Though I will say that Robert gives you a lot of action within the poem. So it's kind of
almost self-directed.
Right, it's sort of baked in right there. So so it just visually just came to me. And fortunately, it's one of those things where you think, this could make a film, maybe, but the end result has just been really more than I could have hoped for.
So before we get into too much of the minutia, tell me a bit about, since this was your first time, I assume, writing a screenplay and producing a movie. Is that correct?
That's correct. This is my first time filmmaker.
How do you even go about starting that process?
Good question. Well, again, the screen sort of started with the screenplay.
Okay.
As I'm a writer, and so I kind of took the poem and just kind of broke it down into a screenplay adaptation. And then just started talking to some friends of mine who do film and made connections with. It was really kind of very serendipitous. I don't know if you know Rebecca Howland.
I do.
Okay, so Rebecca helped me find a location, and she's
A beautiful location.
Yeah, she works for a organization that sort of is responsible for preservation of different sites in New Hampshire, historic sites in New Hampshire, and so she kind of sent out some emails, and the Canterbury Shaker Village responded saying, we got this particular. So the key thing I needed was a staircase with a window at the top of it, because the poem starts out, he saw her at the top of the stairs looking out the window, and so you got to have that. You got to have that, and so that was kind of the key element. And the Shaker Village said, our schoolhouse just happens to have a staircase with a window at the top. So we went and checked that out. And it just kind of fell together. She knew some directors of photography that she'd worked with before, and so I connected with them. I checked out the New Hampshire Film Bureau for production designers, and found an incredible production designer from there. And I hear the music.
You
so I
do, my friend, you do. It's time for Moxie and Candy Necklaces here at NH Unscripted. I am your host. Yeah, whiter shade of pale. I'm going to get into that in a minute. We are coming to you live from the Six Flags-like conditions of the WKXL studios in Concord, 1450 AM, 103.9 FM. And for you blessed souls in Manchester, 101.9 FM. The URL where you can find this show and all of the other great ones here is nhtalkradio.com. Donald and I are coming back. We got a lot to chat about. For those Vestal virgins, haven't found them yet. We'll come across them, I'm sure, by the time the show's over. I am your whiter shade of pale host, Ray Dudley, coming to you from the never overly ostentatious digs of the bunkers of the WKXL studios in Concord, 1450 AM, 103.9 FM, and at Manchester, 101.9 FM. And we can be found at nhtalkradio.com. A whiter shade of pale. Gosh, dang it. So many high school dances ended with that one. How many broken hearts. Oh, my God, my God, my God. Oh, I do want to say, I promised a friend of mine before we go on, Donald, for you theater folks, listen closely. He produced a brand new website called thecastingconnection.net. It's strictly for theater and stage. You can go out there, you can sort by whether you want summer stock, whether you want professional, semi-professional, non-union. It can be regional. It's everything that you would want to think about. I mean, thecastingconnection.net. You'll thank me later for that. Meanwhile, back to the topic at hand. Donald, you were saying...
So, yeah, before the break, I was talking about reaching out to the New Hampshire Film Bureau and finding some great human resources there. And the one was my production designer, Jennifer McComb. She just, I was just amazed. You know, I was kind of worried because the Canterbury Shaker Schoolhouse does not look like a farmhouse. It's kind of a very utilitarian, obviously made for large groups of children. Yeah. And so kind of really didn't, while it had the window at the top of the stairs, which I needed, that was about it. So she came in, she put up curtains, she brought in, just all sorts of things that just made it look like a farmhouse. I wish we could share that.
It absolutely does. That's amazing.
Before and after photos of what this space looked like before she got there and what she did with it. She worked on the Gilded Age, the HBO Gilded Age, down in Newport there. So yeah, she's very, very talented.
Dude, you struck gold.
I did. I was just, and that was the one thing. Yeah, I struck gold with her. I struck gold with my directors of photography, Jonathan Olson and Jonathan Geddes. Both were just fabulous in just helping me to kind of get the shots framed correctly. I had the idea in my head. Yeah. What I wanted. Where I think it was, but to have their just professional eye, photography eye, and the equipment Jonathan Geddes brought in, used his equipment, and which he had great wealth of. And
did you have things like those monitors and everything like you see on a film set? And
we had he had it on his cell phone. Yeah. So he had a Bluetooth connection from his camera to a cell phone. So I was able to sit there with a cell phone in my hand and watch as he was filming. Wow. And then be able to say, yeah, we got it. No, we don't. So yeah, I was definitely, didn't have the, as you said, the big high-tech monitors.
Where it's framed in so you can see that shot. Yeah.
But it worked out really well. And he also had a drone, which we used for some aerial shots.
There's that's breathtaking. Some of even the opening one through the field of wheat or whatever.
Yeah, as he's coming through the field. There's also a shot from the window where you're looking out at the field and watching him walk across the field. So that is not from the window of the
What?
of the schoolhouse.
You're kidding me.
The schoolhouse looks out on the road, and so he was able to take his drone shot of him walking across the field, and then my film editor Jonathan Olson was able to take that and make it look like you're looking out the window and seeing that shot from the drone.
Wow. The magic of film, honest to God.
And that was one thing I really wanted. I had written in my screenplay, she's looking out the window and seeing him walk across the field, and they made it happen. So that was
What was the biggest obstacle that you had to overcome? Was it money? Was it resources?
Well, money's
always. I know.
It's always
just thought I'd let you
challenge.
go there if you wanted to.
But I guess. It was interesting because we were kind of back and forth with the Shaker Village as far as a date. We had a weekend that kind of looked good for a bunch of people, and then they were kind of not to put anything bad on them. They were just busy, but weren't getting back to us. And then finally they said, yeah, sure, you can do that date. And then we were at that point, I think maybe we were like 6 weeks out. So
did you have deadlines that you had to meet?
Yes, I had to find. Well, at that point, I didn't have my production designer or my hair and makeup artist and my script supervisors. Actually, my script supervisors finally signed on the week of the shoot. So that was probably the biggest challenge, is just getting all the resources ready to go.
So the deadlines that you were pushing at were not because you were going to submit it.
Right.
To a film festival. It was the usage of the building itself.
Right. It was actually the date opened up in June for us to be able to have a whole weekend there and shoot, which is a good time because it's kind of a slow season for them. Sort of the beginning of the summer. Their fall is usually their busy time. So it really worked out well as far as timing. And again, my biggest crunch was just getting myself ready for the whole thing, getting my shot list, ready.
Yeah.
So I was organized to be able to kind of get in there and say,
Were you afraid you wouldn't get it done in a weekend? Did you get it done in a weekend? Was it a weekend?
Yeah, it was a weekend.
Okay.
We had scheduled out 3 days. I felt comfortable, and my directors of photography also felt comfortable that we would be able to do it in a weekend. So we started on a Friday, early Friday morning. Had a beautiful day there. Was able to get all the field shots done. Actually spent the whole morning just doing the shots in the field, which, if you look at the film, is
I know.
it's just here and there, But we spent a whole morning.
Yes. I'll bet.
Trying to get all that, all that footage, so we could then piece it in. And then we went to the schoolhouse and got that, started working on that. And then Saturday we got in there, getting bright and early. And by the end of the day, Saturday, we had it wrapped up. It was amazing. Actually, at noontime on Saturday, my script supervisor got together because we had. Actually, my DP said, we got a good number of shots left on the shot list. You might want to look at that and see if we can cut it down. So my script supervisor and I got together and we cut it down, and we were able to get it done in 2 days.
It's amazing for folks who don't realize. So we're talking about a 10-minute film, right?
Right.
So you would think, from the eye of somebody who knows nothing about film, how hard can it be to shoot 10 minutes of film? But you are up against weather. Just even cloud coverage can change a shot from scene to scene, or even the same scene if you got to redo it.
Yeah, I mean, the whole weekend was like they're like predicting rain and the whole weekend, so that's why we got out early Friday morning to get the field shots because we knew rain was coming.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it held off. It was nice, but the second day we were inside, but it was cloudy and kind of overcast, but fortunately, just had the inside work to do at that time. So so it worked out well there. Knock on wood.
Yeah, I know. Good to know. No animals were harmed in the filming of this project. Right. No stuntmen were needed. There you go. You got that. Tell me how you found your cast.
So Kate Gilbert and Michael Cobb are two actors that I've worked with in theater a good bit, and so I just knew that I just saw them in these roles, and I rehearsed with them. Actually, we filmed in June, started back in March, kind of doing some rehearsals with them, and it just clicked. They just really, I had a good hunch that they would work out well, and they did. So,
when you say you had to work with them, when you sat with them, what were you trying to get out of them? What was the most important, maybe emotion or move or something that you thought really needed to be there? And did they do it?
Yeah. Actually, a good part of the initial, quote, rehearsals was really just reading and talking about the poem and talking about the characters and how they saw their character and how they felt their character was processing the grief and how they're not connecting, and so just trying to figure out, okay, she's totally unable to let go and unable to move forward. He's totally wanting to move forward and can't understand why she isn't able to, do the same. And so that was key. Yeah, just getting those contrasting emotions.
Are you kidding me? You hear that music already? I haven't finished my candy necklace. How am I going to get the hot tamales in? Man, oh man, Donald and I are talking on NH Unscripted. I am your host, Ray Dudley. We are coming to you from the blimp-like conditions of the WKXL studios in Concord, high above the city. Streaming from 1450 AM and 103.9 FM. Those are radio coordinates for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about. 101.9 FM in Manchester. And if you need a URL, here you go, baby. NHTalkRadio.com. We are coming back. We're not going to get this done. That's what I feel. Hot tamales for everyone. NH Unscripted. Yes, we are the Love Train. Y'all know it. We love you out there. We are coming to you deep below the earth in the WKXL bunkers. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM, and 101.9 FM in Manchester. Our URL is NHTalkRadio.com. We got that out of the way. Donald Tongue is here talking to me about his short film, Home Burial. Donald, please tell me about the editing process.
Once you have captured this film, you spent 2 days just, capturing from this angle, from that angle, from, who knows? You got, I forget how many hours of film we ended up with.
Yeah, I'll bet.
So now somebody's got to actually take this and make a film out of it. And thank goodness, again, finding good people. Jonathan Olson of Rolling Shutter Productions is actually in New Hampton, New Hampshire. Is just a wonderful find. He was able to take his. He's a very busy editor, so unfortunately he had some time and was able to put together the whole film, and we, of course, back and forth trying to, fine-tune things as he came up with the opening segments of different things in the farm, quote unquote farmhouse that Jennifer had created, and just these wonderful little shots, just to create the mood, and then it was just kind of back and forth of us going, need to adjust this person and that person in this shot a little bit.
So for folks who don't know, filming is very, very difficult because it's not just like taking one head on. You'll run a scene 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times from the side, left side, the right side, from overhead, underneath, and so it's it's not as simple as, oh, we're taking a photo
Right.
and then going to do it.
Right.
And so that all has to be edited somehow for the best shot. The actors have to repeat the line over and over and over as though they've never repeated it over and over and over.
Right. Yeah, no, it's quite magical the way
It
it all
is.
comes together because, right, you have Michael on the stairs, her down by the door, and the stairs that he's sitting on with the window behind him is not the stairs that looks down at the door. So we have to kind of sort of piece that together because it's a totally different the way the staircase works there. What looked like him looking down from the window was actually not. So yeah, it's just again the magic of editing to make this space totally different than it is in actual real in life. So.
Yeah. What did they use for that? Was it like the Final Cut Pro?
No, actually,
DaVinci?
Adobe Premiere.
They did?
Yeah, Adobe Premiere is what Jonathan used. I use Final Cut Pro, but yeah, no, he's got some better tools.
Were you there for the whole editing process?
So it was again kind of a back and forth where he would send me a version of the film. I would make notes, and then he would, based on the notes, make the edits, and kind of. It ended up, maybe 6 or so back and forth on that. And then I ended up connecting with a film festival consultant.
Yeah.
Who watched the film, and she said, "You need a sound editor."
Oh, that's very interesting.
She said, the film is good, but the sound is going to be a problem."
Okay, why? What's going on?
It just wasn't consistent. Some of the vocals. In fact, we had to go and after in August, we had to have Michael and Kate go up to Jonathan's studio and re-record some of the dialogue.
Yeah,
because it just what we captured in the space just didn't work.
Did you have like an overhead boom?
Yeah, we had a boom, but trying to get the boom close enough, but not get it in shot.
I know it will.
The floating boom, and again, being a very live space, a lot of wood, it had a lot of echo and stuff, and so we needed to kind of clean that up in certain moments. So we had to re-record things, and they did a wonderful job of sort of matching their, delivery of the words, so it looked like it wasn't re-recorded. It was, but so again, the film festival doctor said, I know a guy who's actually a Grammy award-winning sound editor, and so she connected me with him.
Locally, he's local.
Oh no, he's in
Okay.
New York City.
Okay.
Vinny Alfano. And he said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Again, sort of a rate for simple folk like us working on a new film. So yeah, he took it and did a wonderful job with the sound. That was back in September. Actually, we thought we had it wrapped up, and then again, the film editor or the film festival consultant said, you need something. So he brought in Vinny. Redid it again as far as the sound. And then there was a moment in the story where I had convinced myself it was her saying the lines. And I started reading some other analysis of the poem, and all of them said that he delivered those lines.
Okay, hold the phone here, because I know how important what you're about to say is. After all this time, you're kidding me.
Yeah, we're talking September. I'd kind of realized that, I should have,
So nobody could pick that up. It just flowed so naturally.
It just flowed naturally that she would be saying those lines. And I was looking at these, poem analysis of Frost's poem, but everyone was saying, no, that's him saying the lines. I'm like,
what?
Really? So,
So did you reread it and go, yes, I get it? Or were you fighting it the whole time?
So in September, I reached out to Jonathan and said, you know what? I got to redo these. Like it was like 11 seconds of the film. You know, it wasn't that long. I got to redo this. And Jonathan's like, really? yeah, I got to redo it. And of course, I'd already brought on Vinny at that point. I said, Vinny, hold off. You got to, redo these lines. And so I had to have Michael record the lines. He was able to get, he actually lives up near Jonathan, so he was able to pop over to a studio and record the lines. And then we used footage that we had already captured.
I was going to say, you must have already you filmed it from a different person's perspective.
Well, what
right?
I did is I had it as if he was saying it in his head. That he was saying the lines in his head.
Smart man.
And so, and it actually works out really well.
Yeah.
Because the lines are like, I shall laugh the worst laugh I ever laughed. God, if I'm cursed. Like he's going to say that out loud to her,
Yeah.
And so it actually works out well that he's saying this in his head. It's like the thing you say in your head, but you don't say it out loud.
Yeah.
So it actually worked out really well. Vinny was able to kind of alter the audio a little bit, so he's like it's in his head. He's like underwater, he's like drowning at that moment. And then we altered the color of the filming, so again it gets this kind of different feel. So while yes, it was a huge thing to kind of like at that moment say we got to redo.
Yeah.
In the end, it actually I think has worked out to make it a better
So
film.
do you still believe it's his words? And do you look at it and go, it was so obvious? How did I not see that?
I wouldn't say I would say it's so obvious.
Yeah.
I can understand why. In reading the poem, it's a kind of a different stanza after her lines. So yeah, I guess okay, it's him. But I just don't get why. Anyway,
So Frost didn't make that delineation, huh?
Well, not.
Apparently not.
Again, I clearly heard her saying it, but again,
Well, apparently everyone did because nobody caught it.
Well, yeah, nobody caught it until I started doing some more deeper analysis and then realized, any Frost aficionados that see this are going to be like, that's not her. That's
calling
him.
you out, dog. Calling you out.
So yeah, I had to redo that.
Dang. So I want to get back to the sound just for a second.
Sure.
When you had finished the film, before you handed it off, were you okay with the sound, or were you like, man, this sounds like junk? I can hear the echoes. I can hear birds. I can hear airplanes. Whatever the heck.
I would say I guess, and maybe my unsophisticated or first filmmaker, not being as attuned to that. I was okay at that moment, but no, it sounds much better now.
It cannot be time for Moxie. How is that possible? Donald Tongue is my guest. He's almost my friend. Yes. You are listening to NH Unscripted. We are coming to you from the mountaintop conditions of the WKXL studios in Concord. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM, and 101.9 FM for the happy souls in Manchester. NHTalkRadio.com is the URL. We got one more block to go. Holy moly. Can we get it all in? You know we can. We'll be back. Unscripted with our mouths full of egos, smarties, hot tamales and atomic fireballs, because you know us. We are coming to you from the not especially overly ostentatious digs of the wonderful, wonderful studios of WKXL in Concord. We can be found, get out your transistor radios, all my peeps and peepettes. We can be found at 1450 AM, 103.9 FM. Put that little transistor radio earphone in. We can also be found at 101.9 FM in Manchester, and the URL where you can listen to this show live, I'm telling you. And you can also find all of the archives of this show and the other great programs here, nhtalkradio.com. My buddy Donald Tongue is here talking to me about home burial. We got a lot to cover this last segment as he filled me in. Okay, Donald, off and running, baby. Fire away. It's all yours.
Okay. So, just a couple interesting stories as far as our shoot goes. The day before we were going to be starting our shoot, Thursday night, Friday morning, bright and early, getting ready, I get a text from the curator of the Shaker Village saying some preservationists have gone into the schoolhouse and removed some windows. So
timing is everything.
So she went over quickly and took a picture of the windows that had been removed and said, "Are any of these needed for your shoot?" And I looked very quickly and said, "Oh yes. Thank goodness they did not remove the one at the top of the stairs."
You only needed one.
I only need one. So yeah, those pesky preservationists had almost foiled us.
Dang.
So that was funny.
That would have been tragic.
Oh God, that would have been like, okay,
Yeah.
next time.
Yeah. We'll do it in the garage.
Yeah. And I just also wanted to mention that, since this is a Robert Frost poem and we are doing it verbatim, the film, all the dialogue and narration in the film is the poem verbatim, as if you're reading it. So I had to make sure that the actors delivered the words exactly as it's written. You could not have any, flub anywhere. Mm-hmm. So fortunately, I had some good script supervisors who were watching the script and while they were delivering the lines. Because a lot of times I'd be like, okay, good, we're next. And the script supervisor goes, she dropped the word, and I'm like,
Yeah, see, now most folks don't get that, right?
Yeah.
This is extremely important.
Oh, and especially in this case.
Yeah.
You had to have the words exactly as written. So we were having one shoot where poor Kate, man, she was just, we'd like shoot it again. And we're like looking at the script supervisor afterwards. She goes, actually, she dropped, it's like, no. So finally we took a lunch break because it was getting time for the lunch, and we came back after lunch and she just got it solid after lunch. But that was
wow. It's funny, as from an actor's perspective, you probably understand this, having directed people as well. You tend to get a mental block over some things. It can be a word, a syllable, a sound,
right?
Where you see it in your head. But every time it's like a speed bump.
Right.
You keep hitting it and hitting it and hitting it. God, I hate those days.
Yeah. So fortunately, we got past that, so it's just definitely a lot of kind of interesting moments on set and beforehand. But now we're getting into the festival time.
I am waiting to hear about this.
So we were accepted for the Culver City Film Festival in.
Stop the presses. Hang on. Back up. How did you even go about admitting it or submitting it to the festival? Come on. I want the scoop.
So there's actually a website. Of course, there's a website for everything, right?
Yes, sir.
Called Film Freeway.
Okay. Never heard of it.
And pretty much every festival in the entire universe is on that, and you can basically upload your project to Film Freeway and then select which festivals you want to submit to right on the website.
Did you click all of them?
Not yet. It's expensive. So,
I see.
No, they don't take it for free, but you got submission fees.
AKA bribes.
Right, exactly.
We didn't say that. We didn't mean it.
But my film festival consultant came up with a list of festivals that she felt were a good fit for the film.
Yeah.
And Culver City was one of them. And sure enough, got a call from Peter Green. He's the director of the film festival back in November, I believe it was. Actually, I was at my grandson's soccer game when I got the call, and I hung up on him. so I got his voicemail and called him back right away.
I can see you look at your phone. What is this? I'm getting spam.
That's right. So I got. He fortunately left a voicemail, and I called him back, and he said, "How would you like to have your film in the Culver City Film Festival?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" And that just happened this December 2nd to the 7th. I can't remember now. Just last couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And the film was screened on the 5th, December 5th, in Culver City, California. Wasn't able to make it out myself, but I think it all went well. And,
So it was an adjudicated process, or is it?
yeah, there's awards.
Yeah,
and it didn't receive any awards, but
Yeah.
again, just being my first film and just getting a chance to have my first festival right there, and so it was very, very exciting. And there's a lot of other festivals coming up in the next couple weeks that hoping to hear good positive things back on.
What he means by that is, if you want to donate money, because it does cost.
Yes.
Donald, while we're talking about it, go ahead and give us. You got a website and any?
I don't have a Tongue
Give,
Mountain
Send,
Productions,
Go.
but you can go to Tongue Mountain Productions is on Facebook. There's a Facebook page. There's also a YouTube page, which you can actually see the trailer to the film is on the YouTube Tongue Mountain Productions YouTube page. And right now the film is not available to be screened or looked at just because we're in the festival kind of period here,
yeah.
and festivals don't like it when things are made public before the festival.
Oh, right.
So,
Are you going to submit it to the Portsmouth one?
Oh yeah. When
course.
they open up, they haven't opened up their submissions yet, but yeah, when that opens up, I'll be right on that.
So you've kind of dipped your toe in the water here. Are you now like, okay, we kind of got the basics here. I kind of see a project on the horizon. You looking at kind of that for the future?
I do.
Yes, I knew it.
I have another Frost poem
Yes,
that
breaking news. Did Fire away.
that I'm very interested in. It's called "The Death of the Hired Hand." I'm sorry, "The Death of the Hired Man." Sorry.
Okay.
So the title kind of gives it away.
Mm-hmm.
But it's another husband and wife poem where this hired hand comes back to the farm, sort of looking to be taken in. And the husband's like, hey, he left me at haying time. I don't want this guy around. And, he's very unsympathetic. She's more sympathetic because she's seen him and feels like, okay, something's wrong here. He's, got not well.
Mm-hmm.
And so it all takes place sort of outside, where they're kind of having this discussion about, home. What is home? And who is your brother's keeper? And it has these kind of themes throughout.
This is Robert Frost?
Robert Frost, yeah. Actually in the same collection that Home Burial was in. Same collection. And again, Robert, he spent a good bit of time just kind of absorbing New England life and New England characters and the people around him, and then just kind of infused that into his poems, and that was what made him unique, that he was sort of taking sort of common things and using it in this, art form, poetry at the time. So it's really beautiful. Again, another beautiful kind of portrayal of a husband and wife struggling with what's being presented to them.
I'm catching a theme here. Okay, Donald, is everything okay at home? Because
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
I don't want to say you're projecting here.
No. No, all's well at home.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good.
But
I just thought I'd give you a chance if you had to, vent.
I'm just taken with the power of these poems and the portrayals of these characters. I think that's the thing. It's just the characters are just so powerful.
Yeah, in such a short amount of time.
In such a short amount of time, and he's just given the material right there. Unfortunately, it is in public domain, so that works out well.
Yeah.
So
is that true? Oh my gosh! Tell me real quick about the soundtrack. You had mentioned for the Home Burial.
There is a soundtrack of just
the score. I meant.
Right. Yeah. Hans Trost is the music person. Got him on the Tribe of Sound, which is a great site to get your background music from if you're looking for some. But
hauntingly beautiful.
It is. It's just one of those things I just stumbled across. Serendipity. What can I say?
Merry Christmas, everyone! For you in theater, thecastingconnection.net. We are about to leave. Thank you, Donald, for coming in today. Yes,
Thank
we
you.
scored another one. WKXL 1450 AM, 103.9 FM, Manchester, 101.9 FM. nhtalkradio.com. Head on out there. Merry Christmas, everybody, and have a great New Year.